Roll call.
Senate will come to order. Chief Clerk, please call the roll. Thank you, Senator Barlow.
Senate roll call, date 18, Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026. Anderson.
Here.
Barlow.
Present.
Boner.
Here.
Brennan.
Here.
Case.
Present.
Cooper.
Here.
Crago.
Here.
Crum.
Present.
Dockstetter.
Here.
Driscoll.
Here.
French.
Here.
Guru.
Here.
Hicks.
Here.
Hutchings.
Here.
Ide.
Here.
Jones. Cole.
Present.
Landon.
Here.
Larson.
Here.
Love.
Here.
McEwen.
Here.
Nethercott. Olson.
Here.
Pappas.
Here.
Pearson. Rothfuss.
Here.
Salazar.
Here.
Schuler. Scott.
Here.
Steinmetz. Jones.
Excused.
Excused. And President Biden.
Here.
30 present, 1 excused.
Thank you, Chief Clerk. Prayer by Father Tom Crunkleton Jr. from St. Mary's Cathedral.
And let us pray. God, our Creator, who revealed the truth that all people are created equal, and you have endowed them with inalienable rights, among which are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We hold that radical belief that governments are instituted and derive their just powers from the consent of the governed. From this belief, we, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our prosperity, have established the United States of America. And we, the people of the state of Wyoming, grateful to God for our civil, political, and religious liberties, and desiring to secure them to ourselves and to perpetuate them among our prosperity, have established the great state of Wyoming. We celebrate today our republic, and especially our state, as the new civics lab and the Capitol Extension is opened, which seeks to educate the public about our government, especially middle school students. As we open the Senate today for business, we put into practice the task of governing as set forth in our constitutions, laws, regulations, and rules, unique to us as the upper chamber of the Wyoming Legislature. Guide us in our civic responsibilities as servants of the people, and bless our work this day. We also ask that you be with our men and women in our armed forces who find themselves in harm's way. Watch over and protect them in their mission, and let the conflict be quickly drawn to a close. And thank you for the moisture. May the state be blessed with more. We ask this in all things in your holy name. Amen.
Senator French, will you lead us in the pledge, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Reading, correction, approval of journal.
Mr. President, the Journal Committee reports that the Journal of Monday, March 2nd, 2026 has been read and recommends that it be approved. Senator Crum, Chairman.
Are there any objections? There being none, the report is adopted. New business. We have a nurse of the day today. Brittany Garnich from Laramie. She's a registered nurse. Brittany, if you're here, come on up. I've got a certificate for you. We'd like to welcome you to the Senate. Yes, Senator Brennan.
Mr. President, may I have privilege of the floor?
Floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, up in the gallery today is my mom and my youngest daughter, Sadie, who came down for the ribbon cutting of the civics lab today.
All right.
So, and they're up here watching us start the day.
All right, well, welcome. Thank you for being here. Welcome to the Senate, as always. Glad you got to check out the civics lab. It's pretty cool. Senator Schuler,
Thank you, Mr. President. May I have privilege of the floor?
the floor is yours.
Today, if you look in the gallery up here, I think most of us know Lanny Griggs. He's a great chief and great fire mentor for many of our counties and people around the state. And enjoy seeing him every year. But I also have my Uinta County Fire Chief here, Eric Quinney. So we just have both of these guys stand up. They do a tremendous job in Wyoming.
All
Thank you.
right. Welcome to the Senate. All right. Today in history, on this date in 1916, a spinster convention was held in Gillette. Senator McEwen. Senator Barlow. That sounds like a good time. Quote for the day: when life throws you a rainy day, play in the puddles. Dad joke of the day: I was raised as an only child. It drove my brother nuts. Announcements. Today is the last day for Committee of the Whole. Yes, we're getting down to the wire here. Tomorrow, Wednesday, is the last day for second reading on bills in second house. Oh, how time flies when we're having fun. All right, looks like we got some concurrences to work on here. Senator Olson, are you ready on message number 217? If so, we'll have the reading clerk read the message in.
Message number 217, Senate File 45, local approval for simulcasting.
Senator Olson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I will move message 217, the Senate File 45, local approval of simulcasting, and ask that you do not concur. So this bill was a product of interim work. It passed through 3 committees before you voted on it as the Senate. The bill was in good shape when it went over to the House, and the House made an amendment, and it's just not the bill that we sent over, and it's not the bill that we've been working. It's not the bill that the stakeholders have all agreed to. So I think the most prudent thing to do is to reject the concurrence, go to a committee and work out the amendment on it, preferably no amendment. And we'll see what the House says about that. So thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. As much as I love my double negatives, I ain't not gonna let you get away with doing that motion. Can you move to concur and vote no?
Oh, yes. I will move message 217 to Senate File 45 and ask that you do not concur. That you vote to concur, that you vote no.
The motion is to concur and vote no.
Motion is to concur and vote no. I like that.
Yeah,
That does sound better.
that does have a ring to it.
Sounds a lot easier.
All right, let's do that. We'll go with that. Senator Scott, discussion on the,
Add one reason to the reason to vote no on that. When you look at the message, there's a provision, page 4, after line 23, cert, notwithstanding any other law and except as provided, section E of this section. Counties, towns, municipalities shall not charge a monetary fee to obtain a simulcasting permit or renewal. You know, we've long time here been urging the cities and counties take some initiative and raise some local funds. That's not consistent with this particular provision that forbids them from doing that. So I would hope that would be a matter that a conference committee could take up as well. So on against the concurrence.
thank you, Senator. Any more discussion? Senator Cole.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. So I was the chair during the interim, during this whole process, and let me assure the body that we worked with everybody all through the process. And this isn't just a year process, it's been going on 4 years. We were given a document that we worked, and we came up working with cities, towns, counties, the industry people, the public, and we came up with a product that made it through the House, or excuse me, made it through the Senate in an engrossed version, and the House decided to put some Christmas tree ornaments on it, which probably, is detrimental to our position. So I would urge a no vote on concurrence. Is that correct?
Yes.
Saying it that way, okay. Thank you, Mr. President.
That is what the motion was. If you're asking my opinion, I can't give it to you from the chair. But any other discussion? Seeing none. The motion is that the Senate do concur on Senate File 45 and vote no. The chief clerk will please call the roll.
Concurrence roll call vote, Senate File 45. Anderson? No. Barlow? No. Boner? No. Brennan? No. Case? No. Cooper? No. Grego? No. Crum? No. Dockstetter? No. Driscoll? No. French? No. Guru? No. Hicks? No. Hutchings? No. Ide? No. Jones excused. Kolb? No. Landon? No. Larson? No. Love? No. McEwen? No. Nethercott? No. Olson? No. Pappas? No. Pearson? No. Rothfuss? No. Salazar? No. Schuler? No. Scott? No. Steinmetz? No. President Beitman?
No.
No. Closing vote? Closing. Vote closed. Senate File 45, concurrence. 30 no, 1 excused.
By your vote, you have failed to concur on Senate File 45. The Joint Conference Committee assignment will be Senators Olson, Chair, Kolb, and Craigo. Return with honor, gentlemen. Any more concurrences? Was that the only one we had today? That's it. All right, appointment to joint conference committees. Got 2 of them here. House Bill 45, Joint Conference Committee number 1. House Bill 45 is, do I have a catch title? Long-term homeowner tax exemption revisions. It'll consist of Senator McEwen, Chair, Senators Ide and Pearson. House Bill 111, state-funded capital construction. House Bill 111, Joint Conference Committee number 1 will be Senator Driscoll, Chair, Senators Salazar and Guru. Okay. Do we have any messages from the House? Messages.
From the House of Representatives, the following messages are each dated March 2nd, 2026. Mr. President, the House did concur on the Senate amendments to the following bills by the votes indicated. Message number 243, House Bill 23, participation in 6 through 12 activities, ayes 58, noes 1, excused 3. Message number 244, House Bill 128, enhanced oil recovery, severance tax exemption, ayes 59, excused 3. Message number 247, House Bill 75, virtual currency kiosks, ayes 58, noes 1, excused 3. Message number 242, Mr. President, dated March 2nd, 2026, the House adopted the Committee of the Whole report failing the following bill, Senate File 87, felony interference with a police officer amendments, ayes 10, noes 48, excused 4. Message number 245, concurrence failed. Mr. President, House Bill 45, long-term homeowner tax exemption revisions. The House failed to concur on the Senate amendments by the vote indicated. Ayes 2, noes 55, excused 4, conflict 1. Message number 246, Mr. President. The House appointed House conferees to meet with a like committee from the Senate on amendments to House Bill 45. Suspend further reading. Message number 248, conferees appointed. The House appointed House conferees to meet with a like committee from the Senate on amendments to Senate File 88. Suspend with further reading. Message number 249, the House appointed House conferees to meet with a like committee from the Senate on amendments to Senate File 28. Suspend with further reading, each signed by Katie Talbot, House Chief Clerk.
Thank you, Tom. I'm assuming we don't have any standing committee reports. Nope. All right. Signing of some more enrolled acts. Here we go. House Enrolled Act number 17.
House Enrolled Act number 17, being originally House Bill 23, an act relating to public school curricular and extracurricular activities.
I'm about to sign House Enrolled Act number 17, being original House Bill 23. I'm so signed. House Enrolled Act number 18.
House Enrolled Act number 18, being original House Bill 128, an act relating to taxation and revenue.
I'm about to sign House Enrolled Act number 18, being original House Bill 128. I'm so signed. House Enrolled Act number 19.
House Enrolled Act number 19, being original House Bill 75, an act relating to trade and commerce.
I'm about to sign House Enrolled Act number 19, being original House Bill 75. I'm so signed. Bills on second reading. House Bill 126, second reading of the House bill.
House Bill 126, Human Heartbeat Act, sponsored by Representative Nyman.
House Bill 126, having been read two separate times, the question is, shall the bill be read a third time? Hearing no objection, it is so ordered. House Bill 130, second reading of the House bill.
House Bill 130, Second Amendment Protection Act Amendment, sponsored by Representative Worf.
There is an amendment. Would the reading clerk please read in the amendment?
House Bill 130, second reading, Amendment Number 1, page 7, line 22.
Senator Hicks.
Mr. President, members of the body, I move second reading amendment number 1 to House Bill 130 and ask for your favorable consideration. Members of the body, basically what this amendment does is just say is if there's litigation associated with the violation of the Second Amendment Act and it goes to court, the court can award damages to those if the person bringing suit doesn't prevail. And I want to say this is permissive. The court may award damages to the defendant. This is what we would call the, I think, reduce frivolous lawsuits amendment, and that's what it's designed to do, is so that if in the case that you have somebody that wants to use this as an opportunity to continually sue law enforcement and local governments, that's fine. Doesn't preclude that from happening. It just says if they're frivolous and the court determines they're frivolous, then you're going to be responsible for reimbursing that jurisdiction for the costs of participating in that lawsuit. So members of the body, Mr. President, stand for any questions on the amendment.
Any questions on the amendment? Discussion on the amendment? Senator Ide.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. Just a quick question. Has that been discussed with the bringers of the bill? Just a question. Thank you, Mr. President.
Further discussion? Seeing no more questions? You want to take that, Senator Hicks, or?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, no, I did have some discussions, not specifically on this amendment with the bringer of the bill, talking about the overall stuff, but not specifically to this amendment. I don't think that's out of order. This is a House bill. I mean, it's always nice to work with our colleagues, but this is a decision of this body. And so with that, Mr. Chairman, I'd ask for favorable consideration of an aye vote.
We are voting on second reading amendment number 1 to House Bill 130. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. That amendment has been adopted. Back on the bill, discussion on the bill. House Bill 130, having been read 2 separate times, the question is, shall the bill be read a third time? Hearing no objection, it is so ordered. Bills on third reading and final passage. Madam Majority Floor Leader, well, before going to third, looks like Senator Love has the privilege of the floor again. Senator Love.
Mr. President, privilege of the floor.
Floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I believe I've got Mrs. Weekly and Mrs. Nussbaum in the balcony with the Alban Elementary School kids. They were here this morning for the ribbon cutting. And many of you probably know John Eklund, a great friend of all of ours. He was very, very proud of this elementary school and their accomplishments. And so this is from his hometown and home school. Thank you very much for being here today and all that you're doing for our community and our kids. Kids, thank you for being here and participating in the opening of the Civics Lab. Let's welcome them to the Senate.
Hear, hear. Welcome to the Senate. Hope you're having a good day today. Exciting times in the Capitol today. Okay. Madam Majority Floor Leader, we are at that time for third reading and looking for a consent list if you happen to have one laying around.
Mr. President, I move third reading consent list as follows. House Bill 3, Wyoming Pregnancy Centers, Autonomy and Rights. House Bill 69, Department of Health Land Transfers. House Bill 78, Forest Health Grant Program. House Bill 87, Omnibus Water Bill Planning. And House Bill 122, Wyoming Rural Health Transformation Program.
Thank you. Would anybody in the back want to remove any of these bills from the consent list? Senator Case.
Very much, Mr. President. I'd like to remove House Bill 3, Wyoming Pregnancy Centers, Autonomy and Rights.
House Bill 3 is removed from the consent list. Senator Scott.
Mr. President, I'd like to remove House Bill 122, the Rural Health Transformation Program, from the consent list.
House Bill 122 has been removed from the consent list. Okay, having been read 3 separate times, the question is, shall these bills pass the Senate? House Bill 69, Department of Health Land Transfers, House Bill 78, Forest Health Grant Program, and House Bill 87, Omnibus Water Bill Planning. The Assistant Chief Clerk will call the roll.
On the consent list, Anderson, Barlow, Boner, Brennan, Case, Cooper, Crago, Crum, Dockstetter, Driscoll, French, Garou, Hicks, Hutchings, Ide, Jones, Kolb, Landon, Larson, Love, McEwen, Nethercott, Olson, Pappas, Pearson, Rothfuss, Salazar, Schuler, Scott, Steinmetz,
Excused.
President Beitman.
Aye.
On the consent list, 30 aye, 1 excused. House Bill 69, are there any changes? French? I don't know. Ide? I don't know. McEwen? I don't know. Pearson? I don't know. Jones? I don't know. Driscoll? I don't know. Salazar? No. Hutchings? Larson? Kolb? I don't know. Are there any changes? Closing vote. Closing vote closed. House Bill 69, 20 aye, 10 no, 1 excused. House Bill 78, are there any changes? Closing vote. Closing vote closed. House Bill 78, 30 aye, 1 excused. House Bill 87, are there any changes? Closing vote. Closing vote closed. House Bill 87, 30 aye, 1 excused.
Having received the affirmative vote of the majority of the members elected to the Senate, House Bill 69, Department of Health Land Transfers, House Bill 78, Forest Health Grant Program, and House Bill 87, Omnibus Water Bill Planning have passed the Senate. Bills on third reading. House Bill number 3, third reading of the bill.
House Bill number 3, Wyoming Pregnancy Centers, Autonomy and Rights, an act relating to public health and safety, sponsored by Labor.
Discussion on the bill. Senator Case.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. President, I think we should think pretty hard about this one, and I would ask the Senate to resist this bill. And I would try to ask you to think about it if it's any other kind of private organization that has maybe a charter or a reason for existing that supports some particular thing and supports it with respect to political beliefs, with respect to maybe actions that are taken. And I could imagine one, maybe it's something like a organization to protect public lands, Mr. Chairman, Mr. President. And that we would somehow want to say that organization that we choose, maybe it's free speech, maybe it's some other noble cause. Then we would say that as a matter of law, we're going to give this organization some kind of super protection. And at the same time, quell the free speech of others that may not feel the way that organization does. You know? Maybe we're going to interfere with people's rights to peacefully assemble. Maybe we're going to give it some kind of super statute. And I don't think that's right. This is truly a very huge political question. It's a wonderful mission that these things have, but there are many, many wonderful missions that we could choose to protect with law. And I would ask us not to pass this. I have no evidence, none whatsoever, that it's needed. None whatsoever. These organizations seem to be thriving, doing their mission, God bless them, and achieving their goals. They don't need the heavy hand of law to further their interests. And we don't need to choose some organizations over others. I ask you to resist this bill, Mr. President.
Thank you. Further discussion. Senator Scott.
Mr. President, I rise to ask you to support this bill. And it was said, what other organizations have special protections? I can instantly think of one large group of them that does. That's every church in the state. And those protections are constitutional in that case. And they are special because we're trying to preserve those freedoms. These organizations, Mr. Chairman, the bill protects them from interference by the government. And they need it because governments have been known to interfere with them. Now, I have a problem with this bill in that I think that there's some other organizations that are very similar that ought to have the same protections that this bill affords. And this bill runs a risk, I think, of being classified as a special legislation. But it is a first step. It is a step that helps those that need the protections now. And I think for that reason, we ought to vote for it. However our feelings are, Mr. President, on the underlying issue, because I think we need to respect the views of the whole population on the underlying issue of abortion, and the population is divided. So this does protect a part of them, but it's the part that most needs protection right now.
Senator Hutchings.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On and for the bill, I agree with the tall senator from Bates Creek, and the senator behind me. I have a list of threats against these organizations, and if he'd like to see them, I'll gladly give them to him. This legislation is not special, and one thing I know, that if we want other organizations to be protected, we can bring a bill. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Hutchings. Senator Rothfuss.
Thank you, Mr. President. On and against the bill, and it does seem like this is a one-sided piece of legislation. If there was a broad category where this was, for example, protecting family planning centers as well, and we know that for every time a facility like the subject of this bill is potentially threatened or has concerns, you have similar concerns for a family planning center or for an abortion clinic. So if it were completely umbrella covering family planning, then that seems like it would be consistent, it'd be an objective bill, and it would be covering a broad area. Mr. President, this is very specific to one side of the discussion, a discussion that we had extensively yesterday, for example, and we know, again, that the majority in this chamber supports this side of the policy. And so we're bringing legislation to support this side of the policy, but we will not protect those that believe differently. That is very specifically special legislation. That is exactly what we're talking about. So this is an inequitable bill. It does not provide equal protection. It's probably unconstitutional. And if the true intent really were to be protective of all, the legislation would be built to be protective of all. That's not what the legislation is about. The legislation is about providing special privilege to one viewpoint and protecting businesses that share that viewpoint. Because these are businesses, this is not an extension of the state. These are corporate entities, and we're saying they deserve special privilege. Those that are similarly situated but have different views do not deserve special privilege or equal privilege to this. And Mr. President, whether you like this business, whether you believe consistent with the beliefs of this business, that's just not good government, right? We need to be consistent. We need to be fair and equitable. We need to be constitutional. We need to not be picking winners and supporting those that share our views and discriminating against those with different views. I know it's hard to resist that. Confident this bill will once again pass. But at the end of the day, our role is not to just protect those that we agree with, but to protect those that we disagree with, which is oftentimes harder.
Senator Landon.
Mr. President, thank you. You know, this is one of those bills that kind of keeps you awake, not just because of the topic, but because of how some of these are written when they arrive here. I'm just curious from my legal friends in the chamber if they would be willing to help me know if you go to paragraph B at the end of the second to the last page in the bill, by legislative order, the legislature may appoint one or more members to intervene as a matter of right in any case in which the constitutionality or legality of this act is challenged. I'm not a legal eagle, and I'm just curious what that means. I've never seen that in our statutes before. It goes along with, you know, the succeeding information in the bill, which says that we're going to grant blanket immunity to these facilities as well. And maybe it plays into that, I'm not sure, but it would be helpful to me to understand that a little bit better. What does it mean if somebody challenges it that we're going to become involved, and how would we do that? Thank you.
Let's consult the good country lawyer, Senator Crago.
Thank you, Mr. President. Apparently the good senator in the back is a legal eagle, because I also had problems with that particular provision, and we took that out on a second reading amendment, Mr. President.
Further discussion, Senator Anderson.
Mr. President, I agree with the senator from Garden Creek on this one. The government needs to get out of our private lives, and less government is better. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Further discussion on House Bill 3. Question being called. We're voting, having been read 3 separate times. Question is, shall House Bill 3 pass the Senate? The Assistant Chief Clerk will call the roll.
Third reading roll call, House Bill 3. Anderson? No. Barlow? Aye. Boner? Aye. Brennan? Aye. Case? No. Cooper? No. Crago? Aye. Crum? Aye. Dockstetter? Aye. Driscoll? Aye. French? Aye. Garou? No. Hicks? Aye. Hutchings? Aye. Ide? Aye. Jones? Aye. Kolb? Aye. Landon? Aye. Larson? Aye. Love? Aye. McEwen? Aye. Nethercott? Aye. Olson? Aye. Pappas? Aye. Pearson? Aye. Rothfuss? Aye. Salazar? Aye. Schuler? Aye. Scott? Aye. Steinmetz? Aye. President Beitman?
Aye.
Aye. Rothfuss? I don't know. Closing vote. Closing. Vote closed. House Bill 3, 26 aye, 5 no.
House Bill 3, having received the affirmative vote of the majority of the members elected to the Senate, House Bill 3 is passed the Senate. House Bill 122, third reading of the bill.
House Bill 122, Wyoming Rural Health Transformation Program, an act relating to the Federal Rural Health Transformation Program funds sponsored by appropriations.
Thank you. Senator Scott.
Mr. President, I rise to ask that this bill be laid back one day for the preparation of amendments. And Mr. President, I'd like to have the leeway to explain what I've got in mind.
Yes.
Mr. President, as a result of the briefings, there was one last night that I didn't attend because I'm too darn tired, and one that I did attend this morning. It looks like there's some rigidities in this bill. We're in the process of negotiating with the federal government I think we can craft an amendment that will both support the state's position in those negotiations and give us some flexibility so that if we get a deal, we don't have to have a special session to ratify some of the details. So I think one or more amendments that is in those areas would be appropriate, and it'll take a little time to get them written and coordinated. So if we could lay this back one day, that would be appreciated.
Okay. Senator Grew?
Thank you, Mr. President. I concur with the good senator, but I just wanted to let everyone know, I did resend out the answers to those questions because I know some of you had a hard time opening the attachment I sent before. You know me and attachments, us old people. But I think I got it right now, and I think you have it. We also appreciate those of you who had a chance to stop by last night. I know it was late, and this morning I know we had lots of other things to do. All members of appropriations have in their inbox right now a confidential memo that was prepared by the department for you to take a look at. I have some extra copies over here on my desk if anyone would like to swing by and pick up a copy. And we'll look forward to those amendments and agree to lay it back one day, and we'll have some answers.
All right, thank you. Absent objection, House Bill 122 is laid back for one day. All right, Madam Majority Floor Leader, we're at that order of business of consideration of bills on general file.
Mr. President, I move that the Senate resolve itself into committee of the whole.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. Where's our cattle driver, Senator Case? We might have to take a quick break. We'll stand at ease till the sound of the gavel. Oh, here he is, ladies and gentlemen. Did we vote on the motion? I don't remember if we voted on the motion.
Did we vote on it? All those in favor?
Yeah? Those opposed, no? Motion carries. Senator Case. All right.
Committee of the Whole will come to order. The first bill for our consideration is House Bill 39.
House Bill 39, engrossed, Firearms Rights Restoration Amendments, an act relating to crimes and offenses, sponsored by Washit, referred to Committee Number 1, which returned a due pass recommendation.
There must be an amendment in there somewhere.
Voting ayes, Senators Crago, Hicks, Kolb, and Olson. Excuse Senator Crum, signed Senator Olson, Chairman.
You've heard the reading of the file, or the bill. What is your pleasure, Senator Olson? Should turn you on. Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Chairman, I move that when the Committee of the Whole rises to report that it do so with the recommendation that House Bill 39 do pass, and I will turn over the explanation of the bill to the good senator from Campbell County.
Senator Barlow.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, members of the body. So as we continue to try to restore rights for people who are who have been convicted of one-time nonviolent felonies, and they have done their time, including parole, restitution, etc., we restore those rights. 2 years ago, we restored the remainder of their rights. We've already done it automatically with voting rights. 2 years ago, this body and the other body down the hall restored the remainder of their rights after a 5-year period. To date, Mr. Chairman, just as a little background, 4,735 people have had their voting rights restored. And based on that bill from 2 years ago, 1,437 people, Wyoming people, have had their remaining rights restored. So I think this is very significant for the people of Wyoming. What we also have done is we've made these small adjustments, is sometimes we block someone out that we didn't intend to. So what this bill does, Mr. Chairman, just very simply, if you go to page 2, and it's repeated another twice on page 2, is if you've had your rights restored in another state, you're also eligible for this restoration in Wyoming. That's as simple as it was. Last year, we had a small adjustment, and it was interpreted by some of our legal folks that blocked those folks. So I'm sure some of you might have been contacted by some of those folks who said, hey, I thought we had restoration. Well, for this last 6 months, 8 months now, we have not recognized restorations in other states. This would clarify that. Additionally, Mr. Chairman, on page 3 of the bill, this was an amendment that came to, on the House side, to the original bill, is talking about where you may have your firearms rights, Second Amendment rights restored. It does not construe the rest of your rights, i.e. to be voting, a juror, or to hold office. I think it's maybe a little bit of a belt and suspenders, but I also have a committee of the whole amendment that I think will help further flesh that out. So, Mr. Chairman, I would stand for any questions on the main bill, and if there aren't any, I'll move the committee of the whole amendment. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Questions on HB 39? Any questions? Senator Hutchings.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Quick question. If you can remind me of what these felonies, or just give me an example of some of the felonies that we're talking about, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Any other questions? Any other questions? Senator Barlow.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, so nonviolent felonies would be possession of marijuana greater than 3 ounces, larceny, i.e. A financial crime of over $1,000, those type of things. It's probably easier to actually describe the violent felonies, which are not eligible for. That would be murder, kidnapping, etc. So the current law to regain your voting rights has been in effect since 2015. It's modified a little bit in 16 and then again in 17. So that's for the voting rights. The Second Amendment one is, of course, just 2 years old. It takes that same category of people, one-time, nonviolent felons, and restores the remainder of their rights. So this is a clarification that folks that move here from somewhere else and have a conviction somewhere else and have their rights restored in that other jurisdiction, state, that they would also be eligible for their rights here. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any other questions? Let's go to the Standing Committee Amendment. Can we have that read in? Or it's Committee of the Whole Amendment, pardon me.
House Bill 39, Committee of the Whole Amendment Number 1, page 3, line 19.
Senator Barlow.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move Committee of the Whole Amendment Number 1, Senate File or House Bill 39, and I'll just explain it real quickly. So this goes to that page 3 of the bill and just makes it clear that your rights can be restored in another jurisdiction. And the way that reads is this paragraph should not be construed to restore rights as the other 3 things. But I think I want to be clear that unless that other jurisdiction actually did restore those rights. Now, I'm told by a good learned colleague in the body that that's covered elsewhere, and as I've looked, I don't find it. I've reached out to the agency that's responsible for these restorations, so I think in just to keep things moving, I would ask you that you would adopt this Committee of the Whole Amendment, and if I have advice from the executive branch responsible for this, that there's a better way where it's completely unnecessary, I will bring it back. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
I ask you to vote aye. Stand for any questions on Committee of the Whole Amendment Number 1.
Discussion on the amendment. Senator Craig-O.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I think it's fine we vote aye. I think we might end up coming back on second reading, Mr. Chairman, and talking about that. And I think the issue that we talked about in committee and discussed with the executive a little bit, the executive branch director a little bit about this from the Department of Corrections was different states have different time periods for restoring voting rights, different than ours, which is covered in Title 7, Chapter 13. And so we just need to double check with him. I had the same thought in committee that this amendment was needed. So I think we just need to double check, make sure we're not making the job harder for the folks that work for us. And if not, then this seems like a good amendment. We can definitely put it on today and then double check. And if we need to take it back off or reword it for second reading, we can do that. So please vote aye.
Thank you, Senator. Anybody else? Anybody else? Question is on Committee of the Whole Amendment Number 1 to House Bill 39. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Committee of the Whole Amendment Number 1 to House Bill 39 is passed. Back on the bill. Any further discussion on the bill? Any further discussion on the bill? Seeing none, the question is on Senator Olson's motion, that when the committee of the whole rises to report that it do so with a do pass recommendation on House Bill 39, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? No. House Bill 39 is passed committee of the whole. The next bill for our consideration is House Bill 41. The reading clerk will please read the file. Bill, the bill.
House Bill 41, Wyoming Highway Patrol, DCI, and Warden Retirement Benefits Amendments, an act relating to compensation and benefits, engrossed, sponsored by Representative Webb, referred to Committee Number 10, which returned a do pass recommendation, voting aye, Senators Brennan, Hutchings, Scott, Steinmetz, excuse Senator Crum, signed Senator Brennan, Chairman.
You've heard the reading of the bill. What is your pleasure, Senator Brennan? Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move that when the committee of the whole rise and report, it do so with the recommendation that House Bill 41 do pass, and for an explanation of the bill, I turn it over to Senator Pearson.
Senator Pearson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Fellow colleagues, so I bring you House Bill 41. The premise behind this bill is to make retirement benefits more even across all areas of law enforcement. So the patrol, DCI, and game wardens are under a different umbrella or portion of the Wyoming retirement system than other peace officers in Wyoming. This is not unique. Judges are covered under a different portion of the state retirement program. The patrol, DCI, and wardens retirement program is covered under Title IX, Chapter 3, Article 6, while the regular peace officers retirement system is covered under Title IX, Chapter 3, Article 4. In February 2024, the legislature passed SF 47, which increased the surviving spouse benefit of a Wyoming peace officer from 62.5% to 90% of the officer's salary when the officer was killed in the line of duty. This was done after the on-duty killing of a Sheridan peace officer. The 2024 SF 47 stated WS 9-3-432A, B, and J, by creating a new paragraph 4, is amended to read, notwithstanding WS 9-3-421, any surviving spouse of an officer. Number 4 says, who is killed in the line of duty on or after January 1st, 2024, shall notwithstanding paragraph I of this subsection receive a monthly death benefit payment of 90% to the officer's salary, plus 6% of the salary for each child under age 18. Since WS 9-3-421 is specified in the bill, it did not apply to WHP, DCI, and warden's retirement system covered under Title IX, Chapter 3, Article 6. I believe this was an honest mistake, with members of the legislature believing all Wyoming peace officers were included. The wording in HB 41 is basically a cut and paste from the peace officers' retirement system wording in the WHP, DCI, and warden's retirement system. The HB 41 benefit applies to the surviving spouse of the officer only who is killed in the line of duty. It does not extend to extended family members. There is no general fund monies involved in this bill. Wyoming Retirement System Director David Swindell has written me saying, consequently, this benefit increase would result in a de minimis, minimal increase to plan liabilities, likely within the measurement error. It's not going to affect the retirement system stability. There have been 2 WHP officers killed in the line of duty, one in 1981 and the other in 1998. Thankfully, deaths in the line of duty are rare, but we need to support the surviving spouse should it happen. The officer's paycheck will not be affected should this bill pass. The only amendment we made on the House side, on the other body side, sorry, was making this benefit effective immediately rather than waiting until July 1st, 2026. Other states have similar surviving spouse death benefits. Some are 50%, some have lump sum benefit, and then a monthly percentage amount. Some surviving spouse death benefits are 100%. If you need an example as to why we need this bill passed, here's one. If a WHP officer is assisting a city officer or county deputy and both of them get killed in an unfortunate event, the regular peace officer's wife would receive the 90% benefit, while the WHP officer's surviving spouse would receive 62.5% of the officer's salary. I think we need to treat the surviving spouses equally.
Thank you, Senator. Any
Thank you.
questions for Senator Pearson? Any questions? Senator Scott.
Mr. Chairman, excuse me, just one comment. You should be aware the extent these officers are covered by workers' comp, and I believe they are. There's a workers' comp death benefit as well. There's probably a little double funding in here. We didn't pursue that in committee, given the time and given the very low frequency of these occurrences, fortunately, very low frequency. But there is a certain amount of double benefit in here, Mr. President, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Scott. Any other questions? Any other questions? Senator Schuler.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a comment, I'm one of the co-sponsors on this bill. I think it's a good catch from the good representative over my area. And, you know, we're seeing younger and younger peace officers out there. A lot of our old timers are starting to retire, and, you know, they have young families, and hopefully, you know, we've only lost 2. But we're seeing more and more drug busts. We're seeing, just the other day, they had one on I-80 that was going 130 miles an hour, and, you know, they had to use the strips to get them to stop. And, you know, they put their lives on the line every day. And, you know, God forbid that we lose another one, but we just need to treat them all fairly. And I think this bill gets to that. And, you know, rather than having the part of them have a 60% or 65% benefit, they all should have the 90%. And obviously, I think it's important with those officers that have the small children that they would have the 62% for their, criminy, got a frog.
It's catching over there on
For their
that far
families.
side.
Anyway, I hope that you will vote for this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Any other discussion? Any other discussion? Senator Hicks.
Mr. Chairman, just a question on this. I think this is a really good idea, but did we look at what the impact of this could potentially be to the actuarially soundness of the retirement fund and the benefits for those folks? It's just a question. I think this is a great idea. Just want to make sure that that's adequately covered as part of the benefit package.
Senator Scott?
Mr. Chairman, I would yield to Chairman of the committee on that.
Madam Chairwoman?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What we heard in the committee is that there's been 2 deaths since the inception of this in the last, like, I don't remember how many years, but these are one kind of very rare occurrences that happen, Mr. Chairman. And also, we did have a question in committee about the benefits, and is there double dipping there with the disabilities? And I cannot find an email because we were sent an email about those, but those those disability benefits don't move over into death benefits. They're for disabilities, was my understanding of the email, and so hopefully that clears up a couple things.
Thank you, Senator Brennan. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Are you ready for the question? Senator Coe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a discussion about, or information about how many people are we talking about on the wardens? I'm really probably specifically wondering how many wardens we have, as opposed to DCI and Wyoming Highway Patrol. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Who would like to answer that? Who would like to answer that? I think I heard Senator Steinmetz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Of course, we can get you more information about the actuarial numbers for second reading. They were quite high. The retirement program is in quite good shape. And really, the people who will utilize this extra addition, because it's a very small subset. Remember, we've already covered everyone else. This is just this small subset of people, and it would only apply to 2 families. We're talking about spousal benefits going up to this percentage. And so we're talking about 2 deaths in this small subsection of people. The rest of our officers already enjoy this coverage. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. We've heard the discussion. Are you guys ready for the question? The question is on Senator Brennan's motion. When the Committee of the Whole rises to report it, do so with a 2-pass recommendation on House Bill 41. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. House Bill 41 is passed Committee of the Whole. The next bill for our consideration is House Bill 102. Reading clerk will please read the bill.
House Bill 102, Protecting Kids from Deepfakes and Exploitive Images, an act relating to crimes and offenses, engrossed, sponsored by Representative Lean, referred to Committee Number 1, which returned a do pass as amended recommendation, voting aye, Senators Crago, Crum, Hicks, Kolb, and Olson, signed Senator Olson, Chairman.
You've heard the reading of the bill. What is your pleasure, Senator Olson?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move that when the Committee of the Whole rises to report that it do so with a do pass recommendation for House Bill 102. And I will explain the bill. There is a substantial standing committee amendment. I'll explain the bill and then we'll take up that amendment at a later time.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman. So in 2025, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children reported over 440,000 AI-generated child sexual abuse materials. That's a staggering 1,325% surge from prior years. This House Bill 102 criminalizes developing or distributing AI systems designed for child pornography. So I'm going to walk you through the bill, but just as a whole, we're talking about what we call deep fakes. So this is artificial intelligence generating an image of a child, and then that image of the child being distributed or simply being created. Let's start real quick with just the definition of artificial intelligence. That's found on page 14. And it means any machine learning-based system that can, for the given set of objectives, generate outputs that include images, audio content, video content, digitally generated text, 3-dimensional models, predictions, recommendations, or decisions influencing physical or virtual environments. So when we talk about artificial intelligence throughout this bill, that's what we mean. The bill creates 3 crimes with 3 penalties. Well, let me back up. The bill, before we create crimes in the bill, we actually have this provision that applies to the entire criminal code. And it says that the use of artificial intelligence system by a person to commit a criminal offense, that's any criminal offense, shall not be a defense to a criminal charge. So there's a blanket statement that applies to our entire Title VI code. Now the 3 crimes. The first one is the unlawful distribution of non-consensual synthetic sexual material. So this is simply where AI generates an image of a child and it is non-consensual. There's no consent to that image being held or distributed. The penalty for that offense is a 10-year felony or a $10,000 fine. If it's committed on a second or subsequent offense, the imprisonment the fine stays the same, the imprisonment elevates to 12 years. The second crime being created by this bill is found in 64308. That's on page 7. It's unlawful development or distribution of artificial intelligence systems for child pornography. This also bears a felony, and it is a 10-year felony or $10,000 fine. Next, on page 9 is the third crime that we created in this bill, and it is the unlawful development or distribution of artificial intelligence systems intended to promote self-harm. And self-harm means any behavior or action that is self-directed and that deliberately results in bodily injury, etc. The crime penalty for this offense is also 10 years, $10,000 fine. So those are the three crimes that are being created by this bill. I think where I'm at now in the bill is a good time to take up the standing committee amendment, so I would ask that that be read in.
Let's read it in.
House Bill 102, Standing Committee Amendment Number 1, page 1, line 8.
Senator Olson.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I will move Standing Committee Amendment Number 1 to House Bill 102 and ask for your favorable consideration. So the primary thing that this amendment does starts on page 11, and we actually delete this entire article. So Article 8, which is found on pages 11, 12, 13, is deleted. And what we received in testimony is that there is a Supreme Court case of Moody versus Net Choice, where this language, or very similar language at least, was found unconstitutional. And so rather than wrestle with anything that could get us into trouble, we decided the best thing to do would be just to take that out. This bill was modeled after Montana, so some of the language has been tried and tested in court, but that was not language that we wanted to mess with, so it's been deleted from the bill. That is the standing committee amendment, with a few minor other tweaks and technical corrections, some areas where we specify mens rea or clarify mens rea, but for the most part, that's what the amendment does.
Discussion on the standing committee amendment? Any discussion on the standing committee amendment? Seeing none, call for the question on the standing committee amendment. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Standing committee amendment is passed. Back to you, Senator Olson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And the last thing that this bill does is on page 16, we go into existing law of sexual exploitation of a child, and we add to it that if you knowingly use an artificial intelligence system to generate or create child pornography, you can be found guilty of sexual exploitation. Or if you possess child pornography that the person knows was generated by an AI system, you can be found guilty of sexual exploitation. So that's existing law, just modifying it in so the standard, so this concept of artificial intelligence is included in our existing laws to protect children. So that's the bill. I'll certainly take any questions on it, but I think just as a whole, Mr. Chairman, I'll say this bill is, these bills are springing up across the country. There's a lot here with technology and testing the law and understanding the law, but I think it's very prudent that Wyoming get ahead of the game because this is a growing problem across the country.
Thank you, Senator. Questions for Senator Olson? Questions on the bill? Senator Schuler.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a question that I've had. I think you're absolutely right, Senator, that we're going to see more and more of this. In fact, I think the Education Committee, we're going to start taking a look at AI, and, in terms of what it does to our educational process. My question is, I guess the better question is, are law enforcement throughout Wyoming, are they set up to be able to deal with this and to figure out really what is fake and what isn't? I mean, do we have people set up in each of our communities that, whether it be at the county level or the city level, to be able to deal with this and know what's real and what isn't? Because I'm kind of intrigued by the whole thing, and I don't understand enough of it to know whether or not that you can just spot something and say, yeah, that's AI, that's fake, this is real. Can someone answer that?
Looking around. Senator Hicks, is it real?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, and to my colleague from over in the corner of UUN, this is going to be one of those things that we're going to chase as technology evolves. There's going to be so many workarounds and all this stuff, so you're going to see this as an evolutionary body of law that we're going to continue to chase the technology. I don't think there's any way that we're going to be able to get ahead of this, Mr. Chairman, but it's going to be something that we continue are going to have to track and come back and update, no different than we see with some of the illicit drug trade in the United States. We're going to continue to have to come back and reevaluate this. So I hope that answers the question.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Olson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just to address my good colleague from UNA County, I think, so the primary way this law would work is actually to prohibit a defense. So it would be very common if the law enforcement came across someone who was either distributing or in possession of child pornography, they may try to raise the defense immediately that it's not an actual child and it's artificial intelligence. And that's where this law really kicks in. But you know, AI is evolving so quickly that I wouldn't be surprised if law enforcement could simply ask AI if it's an AI generated image, and AI might tell us what it is. And that's more of just a joke, Mr. Chairman, but again, I really think the biggest part of this law is prohibiting the defense.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Nethercott.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, good senators on and support the bill as a co-sponsor and recognize that the need for this bill is really critical. The challenge associated with law enforcement determining what is a computer-generated image versus an actual child, and this bill isn't accurately titled. It says protecting kids from deepfakes, but it applies to everybody. So its application is to all people. So I think that's an important consideration. There's a section certainly regarding child exploitation, but the deepfake portion applies to adults as well. But this concern regarding whether or not the image is of a real person or a real child versus whether or not it's computer generated or computer enhanced has been ongoing for a couple decades now. And there are ways to do that. One, as the good senator from Laramie County indicated, is using technology to kind of deconstruct how the image was created and how the image gets shared, and that's through computer code and computer technology, typically associated with what's called a SHA value. And so you can see whether it was or it wasn't. But as the good senator also indicated, there is a defense that it's not a real child. And so is it really child exploitation if it's a computer image or if it's a cartoon-like? And those kind of shades of gray are something that we in society are going to continue to need to deal with, about how cartoon-ish is it versus how realistic it is. Obviously, you can see the more realistic it is, the easier it is to identify that as being a crime against, persons, as we identify in our criminal code, as opposed to an image that is a cartoon. But do we want, as our society, cartoon images of children engaged in that type of activity or in those? And the answer, I think, is clearly no, that is not where we want to go as society. But with this technology, we're going to need to have these difficult discussions, and I think that this bill is a good bill to start these conversations and to get some protections in place when it comes to how this technology is really being utilized in a way that's pretty dangerous.
Thank you, Senator. Anybody else? Anybody else? Hearing no discussion, the question is on Senator Olson's motion that when the Committee of the Whole rises to report, that it do so with a do pass recommendation on House Bill 102. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? No. House Bill 102 is passed Committee of the Whole. The next bill for our consideration is House Bill 83.
House Bill 83, Legislative Subpoena Penalty, an act relating to the legislature, sponsored by Management Audit, referred to Committee Number 1, which returned a do pass as amended recommendation, voting aye, Senators Crego, Crum, Kolb, and Olson. Excuse Senator Hicks, signed Senator Olson, Chairman.
You've heard the reading of the bill. What is your pleasure? Senator Olson, you're getting a workout today. And I will give you some light.
I guess so, Mr. Chairman. But we do a lot of sitting during the session, so it is good. I move that when the Committee of the Whole rises to report, that it do so with the recommendation that House Bill 83 do pass. There is a standing committee amendment, but I think we should take some explanation of the legislation first. This is a product of the Management Audit Committee, so I would turn over the explanation of the bill and its genesis to the good co-chairman of the Management Audit Committee.
Senator Larson.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Just a brief description, I guess, is that I think you all know we had a request for a subpoena in a committee and a no-show.
And the penalty that is in the current statutes is $100 and up to, and 6 months in jail, up to, or both. And the committee thought that that was not a high enough penalty. So the committee raised it to $750. And so that's what the bill does.
Okay, thank you, Senator. Any questions for the senator? Any questions? Senator Anderson.
Mr. Chairman, it seems like the $100 is just a kind of a slap on the wrist, but we're making it now $750, which would be kind of a big penalty. What was the justification for doing that?
Senator Larson. Or Senator Olson. Hold on, I got too many lights on. Senator Olson.
Well, we haven't talked about that yet, so we're kind of ahead of the game. So with that, I'll ask that the standing committee amendment be read in.
Let's have the standing committee amendment.
House Bill 83, Standing Committee Amendment Number 1, page 1, line 15.
Senator Olson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I will move standing committee amendment number 1 to House Bill 83 and ask for your favorable consideration. So, you know what, moving the penalty by a few $100 really at the end of the day doesn't do much. But taking a stance that it's a felony is a serious position. It's definitely a policy consideration. But one of the things that we thought about is the federal contempt of Congress penalty, which is up to $100,000 or 1 year in prison, 12 months in prison. So we are not asking for a $100,000 fine. We're asking for a $1,000 fine, but we're asking for a year in prison, which is exactly what the federal law asks for. In Wyoming, we call that a felony, so that's why it reaches the level of felony. But you know, in reality, this just brings it into parity. And I don't know what other states do, but I would not be surprised if other states have brought themselves into parity with the federal law as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Olson. Discussion, Senator Rothfuss.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I have concerns with the amendment and even going back to the bill, but the idea of raising it even further above the $750 in 6 months. Mr. Chairman, we have not needed the subpoena. And in fact, I'm wondering, the $100 that's there, I wonder when that came about, because nobody's needed to use it. Nobody recollects a time, I look to the good tall senator from Matrona County, maybe he remembers one, when a legislative committee subpoenaed people to provide testimony as opposed to just asking them, which was always an option. And so we had an instance, Mr. Chairman, this last off season when the Management Audit Committee chose, instead of asking individuals to join and provide testimony, that committee voted to subpoena them. And again, without checking their schedule, because apparently at the time when the meeting was scheduled, that individual was unavailable. So I guess I'm a little concerned with us stepping it up even further to the point where now we're going to make that person a felon. A felon. This was a political vote by a Management Audit Committee. It wasn't an interim topic. They had an axe to grind. They got mad at somebody. They subpoenaed them, again, for the first time in my knowledge or understanding. And what we would do if we moved forward this amendment would be to say, wow, you're not just committing a misdemeanor because you've made a few politicians mad. You're a felon because you've made a few politicians mad. Now, Mr. Chairman, if we had a great track record of using our subpoena authority in a responsible way and people were abusing that subpoena authority and not showing up, or for that matter, Mr. Chairman, if we had a track record of calling people on the phone and saying, hey, would you show up for a committee meeting? And they responded with no, even once or twice, then this might be something we would need to go to. We might need to get to the point where we kind of become the executive branch in addition to the legislative branch, and we start doling out punishments and prosecuting people for not listening to us. But in this instance,
Point of order, Senator Steinmetz.
Point of order, I feel this line of speaking is inflammatory to the committee that had these hearings, and being from a county that I represent that is an affected county, I think it's wrong to impugn the committee, their intentions, their motivations, and I think we need to keep it to the subject and the bill rather than impugning our fellow colleagues, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator. I think I feel that that's a really good point on debate, but I'm not sure that it rises to a point of order to interrupt the speaker, but you'll get your chance. Thank you very much. Senator Rothfuss.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I believe it is on point. And it's on point because it's exactly why I'm concerned with this amendment. Because nothing about that committee meeting, I serve on that management audit committee, and it was absurd. And I think that's a fair statement for debate. Within my debate privilege, I can make the statement that the decision to subpoena somebody prior to calling them and asking them to attend the meeting, just a simple, hey, could you drive down, was an absurd decision. I'm willing to stand by that. I think that's appropriate for debate. And the idea that we would make that individual a felon based on the level of judgment that I saw going into that decision is exactly, Mr. Chairman, why I'm on and against this amendment.
Thank you, Senator. Anybody else? Let's hear Senator Nethercott. Then we'll go to Senator Scott.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, to that point, just a question to the committee on this bill, if there were any requirements that you thought about putting in place before a subpoena would be issued. There's only one committee in the legislature that has subpoena authorization. I've tried to kill it for years. I don't think it does much good. It doesn't serve its statutory purpose, but that is another issue. But before a committee can exercise the power of subpoena and compel someone to attend and potentially ask them questions subject to their Fifth Amendment right, is there any procedural steps that a committee should be required to do, such as a notification or a request first, and or a specific time period to give the person notice? So I do understand that that individual actually did respond to the subpoena and said they weren't available. Could they appear alternatively or at different dates? And that was evidently rejected. And so, you know, should that be a prerequisite before we, in all of our wisdom, can charge someone with a felony or any other type of crime where we're exposing them to? So, you know, I don't know the amount of time that this individual had in this case, because that's what we're talking about here, is the circumstances giving rise, because in the entire history of the Wyoming legislature, this has never been an issue until now. My understanding is, which could be an error, it was about a week notice. And that's it. To an order to appear, and if you don't, we're going to charge you with a crime and you're going to go to jail. We're not going to give you any notification, we're not going to ask you, and we're not going to give you any alternative options. You will show up when we command you to, because we are the Management Audit Committee of the Wyoming legislature, and we have given ourselves this authoritarian power. Is that what we want? Is that the policy decision we're going to make here? Is that how we treat our citizens? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. We're going to Senator Scott. Go ahead, Senator Scott.
Mr. Chairman, the question was asked, was I aware of any instance of a subpoena? And frankly, in my now time down here, I've never seen one. I've seen agency heads turn down requests and other agency people because they had other responsibilities and because they had sometimes even personal plans that interfere with the committee meeting. And we were always able to work that out where we could talk to somebody else or ask them to come to the second meeting or there's all kinds of ways around it. We've never had a problem. Mr. Chairman.
Senator Scott.
I do think that some raise in the penalty is appropriate. And I would speculate that if we ever really had to use a subpoena in a hurry, it would be over something else I've never seen. We're authorized to hear impeachments. And I've never seen that, but if we were, then you might get into a circumstance where you really would need a subpoena on somebody who was a witness or something or had key information. And that you might have to do in a hurry. So, Mr. Chairman, as we go ahead and strengthen this, I think a felony may be inappropriate, but $100 isn't going to motivate much of anybody anymore that has anything we want to hear. So, Mr. Chairman, some rise in the penalty here, I think, is appropriate. Because when you think where we might really need to use this, you might have to do it in a hurry, and it might be very important.
Thank you, Senator. Let's go to Senator Ide, and then we'll go to Senator Boner.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just to remind everybody, this is already statute. All we're doing is changing the penalties in here and making them a little stronger. So if I'm wrong on that, somebody can correct me. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Boner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Hate to bring it up, but I've actually sat on a legislative committee, a standing joint committee that has subpoenaed somebody a few years ago. So there is a recent history there. For what it's worth, Mr. Chairman, I'll just describe my memory of that. I believe we were looking at something that happened in the state lands office. We're hoping to get not just members of the Board of Land Commissioners there, but also I believe it was a current Attorney General who was the director of the Office of State Lands at the time. And not only did that Attorney General not show up, but she also advised that members of the Board of Land Commissioners to not show up to the committee meeting as well. And so once a few board members came to our committee and told us that was the case, I think the committee reacted negatively and issued the subpoena. As we can with the majority of in that case, a joint committee. Joint committees do have that authority. Now, at the time, that was the last committee meeting we had, and so it ended up being that the committee was dissolved before Management Council had an opportunity to approve us for another meeting that would have been necessary to actually have that subpoena take effect, so it just kind of fizzled out. So just for whatever that's worth, I'm not sure if it helps or hurts the amendment, but if we ask about history, there's some recent history of about 2 or 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, however long it's been, on the Joint Agriculture Committee. So a little bit more information for the body that assists your decision making.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Larson.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. I do see in 28-109A, it says the presiding officer of either house of the legislature, the council or committee may issue a subpoena upon request of a majority of the members of the body. And it says also that the Management Audit Committee can do that. So it is in statute. I think other committees could do it. And on the facts of when the subpoena was delivered, it may have been a week to 10 days. I don't have the exact days. I can look that up. But there was notification before that. I don't know if that was 20 days or what, but you know, this is in court right now. I don't think this is where we should be debating that position. But on the amendment and on the bill, and hope ask for your vote.
Thank you very much, Senator. Senator Anderson.
On and against the amendment, Mr. Chairman, I think a year is way too long for this violation, if you will. Way too long. 1 year?
Thank you, Senator. Anybody else? Senator Crago.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And maybe this is a discussion we have moving this, if this bill moves forward after today, but the language that was just read by the good co-chairman of the committee that we're talking about here, you know, that language says the presiding officer of either house of the legislature, comma, the council, comma, or a committee may issue a subpoena upon request of a majority of the members of the body. And the last word says body, which I think is super important. It doesn't say upon a majority of the members of the council or committee. It uses the word body. think that's important, and maybe we need to clarify what that means, because I actually read it, as does the good majority floor leader in the back, that the only committee that can independently issue subpoenas, according to subsection A, would be the Management Audit Committee. And maybe we need to clarify that so we know what that exactly means, because obviously we have disagreement in this room on who can actually issue subpoenas without a majority vote of this body or the body down the hall. So just something to think about. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Craig. Anybody else on this bill? Anybody else on this bill? I guess we're on the amendment. Need a further discussion on the amendment? The question is on the Standing Committee Amendment number 1 to House Bill 83. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. No. Chairs in doubt. All those in favor, please stand. This is just on the amendment, everybody. We've got 16 ayes, so that works no matter how many people stand next, I promise you. So the amendment has passed. We're back on the bill. Discussion on the bill. Discussion on the bill. Seeing none, all those in favor of Chairman Olson's motion that when the Committee of the Whole rises to report, it do so with a do pass recommendation on House Bill 83, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? No. No. House Bill 83 is passed Committee of the Whole. Division being called. All those in favor, please rise. Got 20 on that, so I don't think we need to do the noes. House Bill 83 is passed Committee of the Whole. Senator Driscoll.
Mr. Chairman, privilege the floor.
Absolutely.
Fellow senators, I'm about to bring out Diane Enzi, beloved Senator Enzi, who is a member of this body that's unbelievably respected in Washington, D.C., Wyoming, kind of one of Wyoming's sons. We all know the 80-20 rule and hundreds of other things. What you don't know is how much Diane Enzi, what a role she played in his life and Wyoming's life. And I can tell you, a few years ago, I brought a bill for the women's equality coin in Wyoming and was joined with a lot of ladies. I was the only guy on it. Diane Enzi has fought for women's equality for Wyoming to be the leader in it, in Washington, D.C., not just here in Washington, D.C. She's been a favorite of me and my family for many years. Proud as heck to have known the Enzis and Enzi family and all they've done for the state of Wyoming. Please join me in welcoming her.
Hear, hear. Hear, hear.
I just want to thank you all. Mike would tell you this is where he learned to legislate. And he took all of the good lessons about camaraderie and cooperation with him to DC, and he passed hundreds of bills, several of them unanimously, both houses. So you were his teachers. Thank you very much. He loved serving the state, and I miss him. I was just the backup singer.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mrs. Enzi. So good to see you. The next bill for our consideration is House Bill 98. Oh, I'm sorry, Senator Steinmetz, I apologize.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Privilege of the floor.
Absolutely.
To my point of order that I did earlier, I just wanted to draw our attention to Chapter 13, Decorum and Debate. Section 121, breaches of order of the House. No person may indulge in personalities, impugn motives of members, use indecent or profane language, or participate in conduct that disputes or disturbs the orderly proceedings of the body. Mr. Chairman, I would just like to see our debate come up a little higher. We are the Senate, and I feel like yesterday and today, in some areas, we've gotten a little bit off track. I think everyone has good motives. Everyone has the best of the state at heart. And that's all I'd like to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. We appreciate it. Senator Nethercott?
Mr. Chairman, I beg leave that we rise and sit again.
Thank you, Senator. You've heard the motion. All those, well, it's not a motion.
Sorry? What?
You want to go to lunch? Yes. You said rise and sit again. So, okay, so you mean I got to turn it over to that guy?
Yes.
Yeah. That's one about Mr. President.
Thank you, sir. Well done, Senator Case. Madam Majority Floor Leader. Do you have a
Do you want me to do that now?
motion, or do we have any announcements or anything, Ellen, that we need to take care of? We're good? We are caught up, ready to roll. So if you want to take us to lunch, Madam Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. President, I move that we stand recessed until 2 p.m.
Okay, any announcements? Senator Landon.
Mr. President, your travel committee is going to meet about 12:30 this afternoon down in E5 to take up interim topics with the other side. Again, about 12:30, travel, recreation, and wildlife.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Case.
Just a reminder that the Corporations Committee will take up interim topics. We're supposed to take them up about noon. It's going to depend on when our good friends down the hall get out, and we're downstairs in the same row.
All right, thank you. Senator Pappas.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just want to notify the body that your Transportation, Highways, Military Affairs Committee will be taking up interim topics tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. in room PRM 5. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Pappas. Senator Brennan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your Joint Labor, Health, and Social Services Committee will take up interim topics tomorrow upon noon recess.
Thank you. Senator McEwen.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Revenue Committee will be meeting tonight upon adjournment to discuss interim topics in room number 5. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, upon adjournment, you say? Okay. Senator Salazar.
Thank you, Mr. President. Joint Appropriations Committee will be meeting tomorrow at noon in E301 on interim topics.
Thank you. Further announcements? Anything for the good of the order before we go hit lunch? Seeing none, you've all heard the Majority Floor Leader's motion. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, no. Motion carries. Senate will stand recessed until 2 p.m.